Welcome to Manila Updates TV. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Tensions are high in the East China Sea after Japanese authorities seized a Chinese fishing vessel near contested waters. The incident quickly escalated into a diplomatic standoff, highlighting the ongoing struggle over sovereignty and economic rights in the region. Japanese Coast Guard intercepted the Lin Jian 05118. Accusing it of illegal fishing within Japan's exclusive economic zone. China, however, claims historical rights to these waters and calls the seizure an overreach. The crew is now in Japanese custody, their fate uncertain as both governments dig in. For Japan, this is about enforcing maritime law and protecting its territory. For China, it's about defending its citizens and long-standing claims. The world is watching, as any misstep could destabilize the region. Japan insists it's upholding the rule of law, while China demands the immediate release of its vessel and crew. Both sides are releasing statements, each presenting their case with conviction. This incident is more than a headline. It's a test of diplomacy versus national pride. As we follow this story, we'll explore the legal, historical, and economic pressures at play. The key question: can cooler heads prevail before this crisis spirals further? The confrontation unfolded 135 kilometers west of Japan's Goto Islands, inside Japan's claimed exclusive economic zone. Japanese Coast Guard spotted the Lin Jian 05118 fishing, issued warnings, and boarded the vessel after the crew ignored commands. The captain was arrested for violating Japanese EEZ law, the crew detained and escorted to Nagasaki. Japan's swift action signals its resolve to police its waters. China argues the crew was fishing in traditional grounds, protected by the China-Japan Fisheries Agreement. Beijing claims Japan's actions violate the spirit of cooperation. Unlike past incidents, this seizure was non-violent, showing both sides want to avoid escalation. Still, arresting Chinese nationals at sea has turned a routine enforcement into a high-stakes diplomatic standoff. The event now moves from maritime law to tense negotiation between two global powers. Japan frames the seizure as a straightforward law enforcement action under international law. As a signatory to UNCLOS, Japan claims a 200 nautical mile EEZ and says the Chinese vessel was fishing illegally within it. Officials stress this is about consistent application of Japanese law, not targeting China specifically. The captain was arrested for refusing to halt fishing, a violation of Japan's EEZ regulations. Domestically, this move reassures Japanese fishing communities that their government is protecting their livelihoods. Japan is careful to separate this from broader territorial disputes, insisting this is a clear-cut case of illegal fishing. By defining the incident narrowly, Tokyo aims to de-escalate and keep the focus on law, not politics. China responded swiftly, lodging a formal protest and demanding the immediate release of its vessel and crew. Beijing insists the incident falls under the China-Japan Fisheries Agreement, which calls for communication, not seizure. China frames Japan's action as an aggressive overreach, undermining agreed procedures for managing shared waters. The Foreign Ministry warns that mishandling the situation could damage broader relations. China also defends its fishermen's traditional rights, arguing their livelihoods depend on access to these waters. The government's strong stance is meant to reassure its citizens and signal resolve. This is more than a legal dispute. It's a test of national solidarity and diplomatic caution. China expects Tokyo to act with restraint and keep the bigger picture in mind. The China-Japan Fisheries Agreement, signed in 1997, was meant to bring order to the East China Sea's contested fishing grounds. It divides the waters into exclusive and jointly managed zones, overseen by a joint fisheries committee. The agreement encourages communication and mutual notification, aiming to prevent minor incidents from escalating. For years, it has helped avoid crises, providing a rare example of cooperation in a tense region. Now, both sides interpret the agreement differently. Japan claims the seizure was outside the jointly managed zone, while China argues it falls under cooperative provisions. This ambiguity is a recurring source of friction. The current incident highlights the limits of even detailed agreements when sovereignty and jurisdiction are at stake. The fisheries agreement is a foundation, but not a cure-all. Disputes persist when national interests collide. The challenge is turning this framework into real, lasting stability. The latest clash is a reminder that rules alone can't resolve deep-rooted tensions. This seizure is the latest in a long history of maritime disputes between China and Japan. The Senkaku Diaoyu Islands remain the most contentious flashpoint, with both sides viewing every incident as a test of sovereignty. Law enforcement actions at sea are loaded with political symbolism and historical baggage. Memories of World War II and shifting power dynamics add emotional weight to every encounter. For China, Japanese actions can trigger strong nationalist responses. For Japan, China's rise fuels anxiety. Fishing incidents become proxies for larger strategic competition. Both governments face domestic pressure to appear strong, raising the risk of escalation. Fishermen are often caught in the middle, pawns in a bigger geopolitical game. Understanding this context is key to grasping why a single boat can spark an international crisis. At its core, this dispute is about economics and survival for coastal communities. The East China Sea is a vital fishing ground for both nations, supporting millions of livelihoods. Overfishing and declining stocks have pushed Chinese vessels farther out, while Japanese communities blame foreign boats for dwindling catches. Both governments face pressure to protect their fishermen and secure access to resources. The fisheries agreement was meant to manage this competition, but economic pressures remain intense. Every lost catch or seized vessel is a personal and national blow. The struggle for fish is a struggle for survival on both sides. The vessel's seizure puts both governments in a bind: appear strong at home, but avoid a dangerous escalation. Prolonged detention could spark protests in China. A quick release might look weak in Japan. Both sides remember past incidents that spilled into economic retaliation. Yet China and Japan are deeply economically intertwined, giving both incentive to de-escalate. Behind the scenes, quiet diplomacy is likely underway to resolve the crisis. The U.S., with its security treaty with Japan and complex ties to China, adds another layer of caution. Washington calls for peaceful resolution and freedom of navigation, reminding both sides of the risks. The international context encourages restraint. The challenge: resolve the crisis without triggering a broader conflict. Diplomacy, not confrontation, is the only way forward. The immediate path forward will combine legal process and diplomatic negotiation. In Japan, the captain faces investigation and likely a fine, after which the crew is usually released. China will press for swift release and assurances of fair treatment. Negotiations will focus on whether the fisheries agreement's procedures were followed. Both sides need a face-saving solution that reaffirms their commitment to managing maritime disputes peacefully. The incident underscores the need for better communication and crisis management mechanisms. More robust cooperation could prevent future incidents. Long-term stability depends on prioritizing dialogue over confrontation. Agreements like the Fisheries Pact, though imperfect, are essential foundations. This crisis is a lesson and an opportunity to strengthen the peace in these vital waters.